All right. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a beatzillapdx official news break. And this story, real quick, is about Emmanuel Ocho. And as you might have known, there's something that he's doing now. Uh, Again, well, he's been doing it. He cosplays uh, Black agendas often. And he's a Nigerian with European upbringing and background. He didn't get around the Black experience until he got to college, self admittedly. So, with that being said, we're going to just hit a little bit here. As you see on the screen, uncomfortable conversations with Emmanuel Ocho or Acho, which again, uncomfortable conversation that he actually doesn't have any type of tie to, since it's not his culture that has the possesses the uncomfortable conversation. So, for all intents and purposes, you get an outsider to start again representing, in this case, misrepresenting the Black community here in America to further outside groups' agenda. So, this is from the New York Post. The headline reads: What happens when a Black and a Jew come together to talk anti Semitism? This article is written by Dory Lowak, published on the 28th of April. Goes on to read: Israeli activist slash actress Noah Tishby, a pro footballer and a pro footballer and social media activist Emmanuel Acho have come together to write a book exploring myths and knowledge about Jews. As he was stepping out of a sushi restaurant in North Hollywood earlier this month, TV host and sports analyst Emmanuel Acho was stopped and verbally accosted. Quote, I hope they pay you well, unquote. A dark skinned woman wrapped in a headscarf hissed at him. Hissed at him, huh? When the human rights activist who has shined a light on surging anti Semitism since Hamas October 7th attack on Israel turned around to ask, who is they? The woman replied simply, Zionists. The former football star admitted he didn't know what the demeaning patron was capable of as he exited into the LA nightclub. If I'm scared, the 6'2", 240-pound former NFL linebacker who's used to taking a punch on the field told the Post, "Imagine my little Jewish friends." Wow. Okay. A 6'2", 240-pound former NFL linebacker. Okay, so first off, he's basically referring to himself as a bigger, long character. Who who looks at you? Because if people know you're not that big or long, why would you even make that reference uh, in this moment? Well, the reason is because he knows who his audience is, and they can look at any black man that's making the blanket reference to any black man at 6'2", 240 would basically be an intimidating presence. Imagine my little Jewish friends. That shameful ambush only illustrates the need for his new book, Uncomfortable Conversations with a Jew, co written with Israeli actress, producer, and activist Noah Tishby. His previous tome, 2020's Uncomfortable Conversations with a Black Man, had Acho answering squeamish questions in order to go deep into the experiences of African Americans in this country. Again, we are talking about a whole Nigerian who is raised in Europe. His black experience of our culture did not happen until he's playing football in college. What on earth would make him any type of authoritative figure on talking about what we face and what we have faced in this country without any historical reference of it. He doesn't have a historical reference because he doesn't have a history with it. But nonetheless, this is what they'll keep pushing down your throat as, hey, he's speaking for black folks, talking about the uncomfortable conversations. We don't need him speaking for us. We can speak for ourselves. And black folks in the black community speak very well for themselves, by the way. However, it goes on to say, rather than talking about racism and the misunderstandings of the black struggle, writes the 33-year-old Nigerian American who was raised in Dallas, we're going to talk about anti Semitism and misunderstandings of the Jewish struggle. Well, okay, he's a Nigerian American who was raised in Dallas. Okay, he was raised in Dallas. He wasn't raised in Europe. But even out of his mouth, he said that he did not know about our experiences until college. So, see, this is what we're talking about when we're saying tether. He should have enough respect for black folks and black Americans' history in this country not to be making this about himself. But this is his second book, and now he's doing the Bayard Rustin and saying, hey, we don't just need to focus in on our struggles, we need to focus on a whole different groups. Why is that? And he's bringing it over here like that's a black conversation. It is not. This dude's a tether. He has nothing to do with foundational black Americans slash freedmen, the descendants of chattel slavery here in America, the descendants of the early Moorish settlers that were here in this country. He has nothing to do with any of us. Nothing. Acho's goal for the book, proposed some 15 months before the Hamas massacre, wasn't to be imperfect, wasn't to be, excuse me, in perfect lockstep with Tishby, just to learn. The two were introduced by their agents after Acho learned about Tishby's online activism and thought she would be a great fit for the project. Wow. And so she's saying, oh, it was fated by God. Yet the pair's platonic and professional love fest and subsequent book project was almost permanently derailed. Well, yet the pair's platonic and professional love fest? So yeah, so y'all know he ain't sleeping with this white woman now. Wow. Days after, and don't let them tell you that them folks ain't white. That right there tell you that she white. They see her as white. Okay. So, well, they ain't the white people. Stop it. That right there just tell you how they really actually see her and identify her. So don't let nobody bring that mess to you. Days after October 7th, Tishby agreed to film a video interview with Acho to help put a face on the tragedy for his massive, uncomfortable conversations. YouTube following. Oh my goodness. When he when he sent her the trailer, she writes, she was devastated to see herself in a split screen alongside a noted anti Semite, Nora Erkat, who blamed Israel for the attack and has appeared in a panel alongside a senior Hamas leader, Ghazi Hamad, in 2020. She had no problem with another point of view, but the gobsmacked actress noted that there hadn't been a single military action taken by Israel that had a point that at that point writing, that's not true though, ma'am. That's not true at all. See, we can't address this in dishonesty. So yeah, there were things being done, and I guess you can't technically call them a military action, but we see how these folks just tore up human aid workers trying to render aid and food and blew them out off the face of the earth. So yeah, okay. There was no other inconceivable sign. Okay. She accused Ocho of covering himself with his followers by having it both ways, and for her part, the book collaboration ended. But Tishby, who's appeared on television shows such as Big Love and Leverage, soon realized that the book impact far outweighed any temporary pain. I knew this was much more important for the Black and Jewish communities and for the culture right now. For the culture? Whose culture? So you have a Nigerian and then talk about Black communities. Then why aren't you pairing with somebody who is Black? You're pairing with somebody who is not Black. This man is not Black. So, excuse me, I have to move this mic a little bit. So you're pairing with a person that is clearly not Black, but whatever. Neither author hesitated to include the warts and all and all flap in the final copy. We're two people. We're two people who are very different, who put those differences aside for the greater good, and to me, not enough people can do that," said Acho. If you don't see again, your differences. What differences do you have? You don't have our experience to even be bringing or bridging the Black community with the Jewish community because you're not Black. You are a Nigerian. You don't share our heritage nor our experiences here in this country. You can't speak for us. You don't speak for us. You do not represent us. You speak for yourself and you speak for your own community. But everything else that you're doing, this is why we call these people Tethers family. Because all of this right here is about Black folks and tying Black folks into something that we have already said we don't want no parts of. You keep your conflict, you leave us to our Black business. So here's going Acho, the buck broken tether, to come over here. This bootlicking shine over here gonna come over here. So let me go ahead and just, well, I know I ain't really one of them, but I'm gonna sit in the seat and I'm gonna write this book because I need to make sure that my little Jewish friends feel some kind of safe. And if these Negroes ain't gonna step up, then I'm just gonna step up for them. If you don't sit your punk ass down. It's the book's bluntness that makes it so real. Direct, if uneasy, questions to tackle the Z word. In a chapter on Zionism that became Ocho's favorite conversation, despite admitting he originally hoped to avoid using the word due to its controversial nature online. Its controversial nature online. Zionist is a controversial word online? No, bro. See, this is again, had you really had our experience here in America, you would know that's not the case. No, no, no. This Zionist thing been long before there was an internet. So that's very interesting. Israel's right, let's see. Tisby explained at its core, it means Israel's right to exist, breaking through the uncomfortable moment for Acho. You know, that entitled statement is just so amazing. I would love to hear how people actually address the history of the people who were in that land, fared for a lifelong generations who have been uprooted and now are being oppressed and suppressed since 1948. That's a lot of nerve when you say people have the right to exist. The people to whom you displace and are putting your foot on their necks right now, they also have the right to exist. Everybody who says they're Palestinian is not Hamas. And we're getting, if you don't see where this thing is going, it's going right back into that Muslim hating talk. And this is happening under Democrats, by the way. Because, see, white supremacy does not have a political party. Don't let these bootlicking Biden sexuals confuse you. There is no party for white supremacy. That would be like a religion has a party. It doesn't. You'll find Democrats and Republicans who both subscribe to Christianity, Catholicism, all these other things. So, Miss Me, I need to ask you a question about being Jewish. The same way white people ask me questions about being black, but you're not black, Ocho. The result was eye-opening for Acho, who admitted he thought there were at least 200 million Jews in the world, not 15 million, which blows his mind despite his earlier work with noted Holocaust survivor Tova Friedman, whom he interviewed on MTV in 2021. Ugh. Now, listen to this. But the collaboration between two friends in Los Angeles, one black man, one Jewish woman, in conversation style prose, would not be without its backlash, which Acho pretended earlier in the book. And he went back talking about that woman calling him a Zionist. Why don't you talk about how foundational black Americans keep checking you about not speaking on our behalf? Since you're not one of us. I don't know. This is ridiculous. Let's see, it goes on. An ongoing theme in the book is the fixation on race. Are Jews white, not white enough, or too white? And how that plays into whether they're automatically shoved into the oppressor or oppressed category. What are you talking about? See, this is insane. Acho told the Post he thought the greatest misconception about the Jewish people in this perception that they are all white. If Jewish people aren't white, then you can't be dancing for the man. He said, "What? What?" Adding that he believed Jews get a lot more benefits of being perceived as white in this country, which fuels some of the animosity from the black community. What? See, you're in POS territory now, bro. Tishby painted a bleak picture about Jews today, many of whom are concealing their identity to survive. And now this fear of self-preservation does not fit neatly into the privilege category often assigned to them. Do you hear this strongman argument that they're making that has nothing to do with black folks? Acho ought to be ashamed of himself, and he's a piece of crap for this. Because here's something he's totally misrepresenting Black America in this sentiment. Why isn't this Nigeria? He's a Nigerian. This isn't the black community. This is a Nigerian experience. This is what he thought he understood about these people as a Nigerian. He's not black. And this is a whole lot of black talk in here, to which he ain't. Acho insists he's 1000% proud of the book, especially how it could help heal the battered black Jew connection. The battered black Jewish connection that's been hijacked by misunderstanding. What the hell is he talking about? See, this dude is delusional. What the hell is he talking? He's making a very, very ill argument that is just a flat out lie. The lie he telling right now, I hope they paid you enough for this one, brother. Because, boy, you need to be lambasted for this madness right here. Or the connection. First off, where is the connection between them and us? And then when was that? Where was that been demonstrated? Don't tell me about the two cats that died in civil rights. I do not want to hear about those two. You got to do better than 50 years ago. And ain't none of these folks advocating for justice for us. Ain't none of these folks advocating for an anti-hate crime bill for us. And most definitely none of them are asking for reparations for us, which they have an anti-hate crime bill for them. And they also got reparations. America's still paying money to them, funding everything they want to do. What are we talking about? Man, misunderstandings. Are you kidding me? Hey, there's a black man called Mr. Louis Farrakhan. And these groups, when they feel like going after a black person, talk down to other black people for supporting another black person. That is our community. And they want to feel more important to us than the people within our own community because they don't like what they're saying. That's not a friend of us. That is somebody who looks down on us and seeks to only have an oppressive relationship. So I don't know what you're talking about, Acho, but you are way off base here, bro. Oh, let's see. Where are we? So if the two communities would just spend more time talking, they would understand the similarities and thus the tension would dissipate. This is why tethers have no business talking in our midsts, because they just simply do not know what the hell they're talking about. And that's all that of this little article I'm gonna read. But one thing I do want to play, I just want to take y'all back down memory lane and just reacquaint you with who this Acho dude is.
Oh, when white people say, well, racism doesn't exist, I know why they say that, because I've been in them rooms when they saying that. Mm-hmm. When I kick it with black people and they're like, all white people are racist. I know why you're saying that. All the while, I have the privilege and luxury of not having generational trauma because my parents were born in Nigeria. So, man, my method is removing some of the sting because I don't have that sting and trying to deliver a message in a manner that people can receive it.
Okay. Let me tell you why what you just said offends me.
Okay.
All right. You saying that you don't have generational trauma and you didn't mean it this way, but the reason, and it's, I have to name it, you saying that you don't have any generational trauma in some way meaning, or that in some way meaning that your delivery method to white people is going to be either more effective or more sanitized is, to me, dangerous. And let me tell you why. Everybody that you just named and what you're talking about does what they do in different ways. I don't think that any of the things that they do are necessarily harmful. But what I could say is a black man, a prominent one, acting as an emotional butler for white people and serving them the most milquetoast, unspicy, unseasoned brand of racial discourse and accountability possible could definitely be harmful. Like, we're fighting for our lives. And to me, having a conversation like that at that particular time, it's not that it's a different method. Everybody has a different method. Is that it's the wrong method. Is that it gives cover for
facts. And see, I'm glad. See, this is the guy who is still, he's done that then, and now he's doing this now. He is fully aware of what he is doing, and this man should be ostracized for it. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I just wanted to touch on this willful cosplaying that Emmanuel Acho is doing out here, trying to misrepresent, talk like he's some kind of black leader when he ain't even one of us. So yeah, shame on you, Negro. Well, can't even call you Negro. Shame on you, African. Shame on you. You were over here being the dirty, low-down tether that people sit up here and talk about. And with that being said, man, you ain't nothing but one of these.
Buck dancing, shuffling, scratching, bootlicking, bamboozling, Uncle Tom Negro.
So Emmanuel Acho, you get one of these.
Sambo, Sambo, Sambo.
And if you think you can still just talk and represent this black community without being part of it and just continuously being disrespectful without grossly being checked by the grassroots, well, brother, we all dedicating this to you.
Get up off of that cocaine and get up off of that crack. Get yourself together and get your mind back.
All right, family, this has been a Beatzilla PDX official news break. And you can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at beatzillapdx. And you can email me at ourrealtruth@gmail.com. And of course, you see the Cash App links and the PayPal links as well. You can also become a member of this channel if you would like to support that way. Like, share, and subscribe to this broadcast and this video. So if you have not already done so, also hit that notification bell, hit the word all. That way you'll be notified anytime this channel goes live or a video is uploaded. So with that being said, family, see you on the next go around. Black first. Actually, what do we say here? Stay black, stay vigilant, stay alive. Black first, black first, black first. Shalom, y'all.
I love Cousin Sal.
Your family came to America from Nigeria. You grew up in Texas in a Nigerian-American family. Did you keep the Nigerian traditions as a kid? Well, like eat the foods and all of that sort of thing?
It's impossible not to keep Nigerian traditions.
I
Okay,
see.
in a Nigerian household, you must be a doctor, you must be a lawyer, you must be an engineer. Like playing football is not what
not
you're
on the
supposed
list?
to. It's not on the checklist of things to do, right? It's like you get a doctorate degree. It's like, okay, what's next? And so
Really?
Nigerian
Wow.
household, it was just super. I went to an all predominantly white private school. I was supposed to be a national merit scholar. I ended up being 6'2", 240. I said, okay, we'll play football. But the beautiful part of Nigerian culture is I had to learn white culture because I was immersed in white culture. And then I got immersed in black culture playing in the NFL in college. And that's why I've realized the disconnect that currently exists in America. There's a color issue, but there's a culture issue. Let's address all of them.
Isn't that interesting that you learned about black culture as an adult playing football? Isn't that interesting that you learned about black culture as an adult playing football? Isn't that interesting that you learned about black culture as an adult playing football? Isn't that interesting that you learned about black culture as an adult playing football? Isn't that interesting that you learned about black culture as an adult playing football?